Hello, and welcome back to CoinLady channel. Do you think the SEC will finally put a stop to the long-running litigation between the US and Ripple by reaching a settlement with the company? It's no secret that Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, previously stated the company was eager to settle with the SEC, but that the regulator's stance on cryptocurrencies prevented a deal. So, do you believe the SEC will reach a compromise with XRP now? Fintech recently tweeted that the SEC must conclude ongoing joint request discussions or risk losing. Another Twitter user, though, remarked that he was caught off guard. The SEC has decided not to settle the Hindman records, which could be embarrassing and could give the agency a temporary black eye. However, I do not think they would dispose of the entire case in order to conceal the emails and papers. Think I'm crazy? It isn't obvious to me. They might have asked for a second look if they had done so. Your thoughts? A key executive at Ripple's has publicly stated that the company is willing to negotiate a settlement of the lawsuit. However, the SEC and its chairman, Gary Gensler, present a significant obstacle due to their stance on cryptocurrency in general. All of you are aware of the situation's context. In December of 2020, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, launched a lawsuit against Ripple on the grounds that XRP is a security and not a commodity. There are, metaphorically speaking, two sides to this story, Ripple's and the SEC's. The topic of whether crypto assets should be considered as securities now has to be examined on a case-by-case basis using the Howey test, given there is no legislation in the United States that makes explicit the categorization of crypto assets. The SEC's charges against Ripple and its officials said that the company had broken federal securities law by soliciting investors to purchase XRP, despite the fact that Ripple is not the XRP's creator. Considering that some of its top executives were involved in creating the token when this shockwave hit is difficult. The SEC is a two-pronged analysis. It claims that the lack of signed contracts at the time of the transactions disqualifies the sale of XRP as an investment contract, and that XRP fails to meet the requirements of the Howey test. According to the chief legal officer of Ripple, Stuart Alderon, the company is confident that XRP does not meet any of the Howey criteria, and that there is no common enterprise group undertaking that affects the fortunes of XRP investors among XRP holders other than a common interest. A recent correspondence from SEC officials, however, showed that XRP did not pass the Howey test. The SEC's primary argument against Ripple is the Howey test, a widely accepted method for determining whether an investment contract is a security under the Securities Act of 1933. However, there are caveats to the test and multiple ways in which it could fail to disprove Ripple. The U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York has not yet ruled on whether Ripple's XRP constitutes a security, as you may be aware. Meanwhile, based on the SEC staff report, the lawyer for XRP holders in their critical Ripple litigation made a bold allegation about the nature of the XRP token. John Deaton, amicus curiae, attorney. One of the footnotes in Ripple's opposition and reply briefs in the XRP case. It claimed that there are plausible arguments to support the conclusion that XRP is not a security under U.S. federal securities legislation because it does not meet all of the components of the Howey analysis. As indicated in Exhibit 230, there is a high probability that XRP will not be classified as a security and so will not be subject to regulation by the US SEC. Take note that the aforementioned statement can be seen in Exhibit 220 of the SEC emails. Since IT workers have concluded that XRP is not a security, the Commission's decision to press proceedings against the Ripple executives raises serious questions. Extending the argument further, the attorney for XRP supporters said that the SEC's enforcement lawyers analyzed the token on June 13 but did not recommend any enforcement, such as a cease and desist order to prohibit trade. Then what exactly does the email say? XRP is probably not a security for purposes of the federal securities laws since it does not meet all of the requirements of the Howey analysis. According to the message sent out by the SEC, the notion that XRP and other cryptocurrencies should be categorized as securities because they fulfill the definition of the term under the Howey test is the central tenet of the agency's case against Ripple. Therefore, it would be devastating for their argument if the SEC or an SEC officer admitted in internal records that XRP is not a security. Dayon speculated that an SEC official might not have directly said something and instead be referring to an outside review of XRP. Bill Morgan, another pro-crypto lawyer, echoed these sentiments, speculating that the email's author was an attorney for the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, given the number of people involved. Judge Annalisa Torres issued a ruling on the parties' request to seal papers relating to summary judgment applications and accompanying exhibits in light of the newly publicized Hinman speech. The most significant part of the judgment was the denial of the SEC's motion to seal internal deliberations connected to the controversial speech given by Hinman in 2018 and commonly referred to as the Henneman Docs. Judge Torres ruled that the parties must exchange the records by June 6, 2023. Nonetheless, the SEC and Ripple asked for a week's grace period. The request was granted very instantly by Judge Dorr. Over the weekend, members of the XRP community argued passionately about the parties' request for an additional week to reveal the documents. Some others thought that if the deadline was pushed out, the parties would have more time to negotiate a deal. But some fans, like Deaton, argue that the lengthy paperwork the parties must submit because of the sealing injunction necessitated the wait. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse predicted that the matter would be resolved by the end of September 2023, and while no official date has been set, Judge Torres is expected to render a summary judgment conclusion. The blockchain firm claims the summary decision will be issued before the year is over. The timing of the summary decision is ultimately at the discretion of Judge Torres. The most recent development in the case, however, likely surprised many people. One of Ripple's attorneys has filed a motion to withdraw from the SEC action. One of Ripple's lawyers, Kylie Chisel Kim, has submitted a motion to withdraw from the SEC versus Ripple dispute as it nears its conclusion. Veteran pro-XRP attorney James K. Fillon, who has been keeping tabs on the SEC versus Ripple dispute, revealed the new development yesterday. Phil and attorney Kim recently filed the motion in the Southern District of New York, according to the papers they provided. Kim announced in the move that she was leaving the firm of Kellogg Hansen, Todd Fiegel and Frederick PLLC, which is representing Ripple in its ongoing legal struggle with the SEC. It was also made clear that the major blockchain company would be represented in court by attorneys from both the firm and Debevoise and Plimpton LLP. To the newly submitted motion, attorney Kim additionally appended a declaration. You may recall that in July of 2022, attorney Kim joined the legal staff at Ripple's. According to news accounts, this was a huge win for Ripple's legal team in their ongoing battle with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. With Judge Doris likely to issue a summary judgment at any moment, members of the XRP community are wondering what could have triggered her decision to withdraw from the lawsuit. The potential impact of this change on the approaching summary judgment has many XRP supporters worried. Following what some on Twitter believe to be the resolution of the lawsuit, attorney Kim resigned as counsel to Ripple. After leaving the Kellogg legal firm, she was widely believed to be stepping down from her role as a Ripple's counsel. We have to hold off judgment until we hear from Ripple's CEO. Judge Annalisa Torres would rule on a motion for summary judgment before the end of the third quarter of 2023, as predicted by Brad Garlinghouse. According to Garlinghouse, the judge has been thoroughly briefed on the matter and has all the material at his disposal to reach a decision. Why Garlinghouse thinks the case will be over in weeks rather than months is unknown at this time. Nonetheless, at this point, all you can do is wait for the judge's decision. For whatever that's worth. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you in the next video. Bye.